we have a micro keynote, which basically this time means only some information about today and about yesterday. So to start off, we will again let's try this again. I missed this yesterday. So let's thank our sponsors. Yesterday, do you have any questions about yesterday? Just as overall. I tried to answer all the questions about the sauna, but okay, good. Then we'll continue. What I forgot, my colleagues from Finland told me, Sami, you started off quite nice. First of all, you forgot the sponsor. Second, you didn't introduce yourself at all. It's like a way of starting a conference. Like, hello, how are you? I'll introduce myself many times today because I have my own sessions, but probably by now you all know that I'm Sami, so I think we're fine with that. I'll tell you more about myself when we get to the session itself. What happened? How was the sauna? Good. At least everyone I saw there seemed to be enjoying themselves. So, and as the Finns said, that pea soup was actually extremely good compared to the pea soup we usually get. So the lady there had done a very good job. It was actually very good if you ask me. The last time I ate pea soup was in the Finnish army about 15 years ago. So I just haven't been able to eat it since, but this one was excellent. Bill is okay. People were worried. Bill is fine. Well, actually he had some kind of food poisoning and was rushed to the hospital yesterday. But he's fine now and he's rescheduled his flights and he's actually going home already. So he won't be joining us. Sad to hear, but the thing is that he's okay. So flying all the way from US to here to get food poisoning and flying back home, that's sad. That's sad, but still. Okay. The thing is that he's okay. Paul is coming. What? Does someone know how to pronounce Paul's last name? Wojciechowski? Okay, yeah. So Paul is coming late, but he is coming. So yesterday the bad thing was that it's just a coincidence, but we only have two guys in the whole conference that have two sessions, which are Bill and Paul, which are the only ones missing. And actually, Bill was supposed to replace Paul yesterday. So when Paul wasn't coming and Bill was sick, that's when we luckily had Karen. So we always learn something from these conferences. One needs to have a backup for a backup. So there's about 70 MCTs enrolled and about 58 or something have already been here, at least for a while. There's about 10 missing still. Most of them are Finns. That's like the weirdest thing. The closer you are to the event, the more late you are. 22 countries are present, so I kind of hoped everyone would be here, so it would be easier to see everyone. But so these are the nationalities. People asked about this yesterday. So the nationalities that are present are these 22 countries. So is anyone from Austria here now? Yes, good. What about Belgium? That should be more than plenty. I actually thought you would win by the amount of MCTs present, but no, you lost the Netherlands with one MCT. So Estonia, one Estonian. Finland, Germany. Ooh. 2 hands, that's cheating. Greece, Elias is sleeping. He went to the bar. Yes. Ireland, in the pub. Italy, no. Saudi Arabia, Philippines, yes. Okay, fair enough. Libya, yes. Netherlands, whoa. That's a lot. Norway, where's Tom? In the pub as well. Or the other. Okay, that's good. Poland, they were all really excited about the sauna and bar, so they're probably sleeping. What about Portugal? Portuguese? No, not present. Romania? No. Russia? Yes. Slovakia? No, none. Spain? No, Spanish. I know a few words in Spanish, that's why I was hoping for someone to be here. Did you know that the worst thing that you can say to a Spanish guy is "que te parta un rayo," which means I hope a lightning would cut you in half. So like if you in Finland would go somewhere and tell someone like really want to offend them and said I hope a lightning would cut you in half, they would just laugh at you. That's like insult of no value. Sweden, 2 hands. You're cheating again. You're part of every single nationality so far. Switzerland, Okay, cool. United Kingdom. Quite a lot. Okay, cool. United States. Karen. Where's Seth? Because Seth, I hope I'll find Seth because I've got his swimsuit. That's strange. That's strange. What takes place in the sauna stays in the sauna. You'll have to ask Seth. It's not my problem. I just picked it up. Believe me. Okay. I'm not even sure if it is Seth. So many people told me that it is. So I think so. So what about today? What's going to happen? We have basically almost the same way of traveling, although we are going, instead of a tram, we are taking the train. So we're going to the same railway station that we left off yesterday with the tram, although we're going to go into the railway station and find some kind of a train. As I said yesterday, all trains, first stop is Pasila. You cannot miss it. The first stop with any single train. They are, on the instructions that you have, there are certain letters of trains, but those were actually chosen only because they are on the same side of the railway station. There's actually a lot more letters than those that you saw, but whichever you pick, the first stop, that should be only something about 6 minutes or something, and then you're there. And then we're going to Sovelto. There's food, plenty of food, and all sorts of activities. And we're getting back here at 10 o'clock, or as we did yesterday, perhaps a few groups will leave a bit earlier if someone wants to get out earlier, and at least finally at about 10 o'clock the last one leaves. And if we think about yesterday's leaving to the event, someone was asking me, like, didn't you go to the Finnish army that you should be able to handle this amount of troops? But I actually was there only for 6 months, and I was only doing something that I was told, so it's not my cup of tea. So, because yesterday we were standing here, I was like, everyone come to the auditorium, and then someone came told me, auditorium is closed. They can't even get down. I was, okay. And then when I went up, and finally I was standing there with 3 people, and I guess everyone else had left already, and then I came to the sauna, and you were there all, but I had no idea, so let's see how we'll organize this today, but basically the same start for the journey. Sorry? Yeah, Katja. Katja is not here right now because she also went to the bar. You know, yeah. Wonder why? Lucky guess. She can organize. You saw it. Okay. Don't mind the rock music. This is like one of the busiest nights of the whole year for this hotel. Meaning that after we stop at 5 o'clock, the first theater folks are running in here and starting to build up the first session of tonight, which is for 350 people. And they're here for 2 hours, and then there's the next 350 people getting in. So they really want us to get out of here at 5. And another thing is that the sound check for the band that's playing here tonight, the only available time for a sound check is during our lunch. So when we have lunch, we will have to, well, okay, it doesn't matter if we're here, but they're gonna start their sound check just outside here. So don't mind, they will play hard. No, it's some, I don't know, it's some foreign band, U2 or something, I don't, yeah. We don't really care about those, but yeah, just I organized this for you. Makes the ticket price quite low. Okay, any questions about tonight? No, no going to sauna. Sorry. This will be the shortest ever sponsor note we will instantly change from the micro keynote to the sponsor slides, because I want to get this over with, and then I can let VM take over and get their gear ready. And how do you pronounce it? Veeam. Veeam. Okay. That's really hard for a Finnish. You have so many non-consonants next to each other. That's impossible. Vowels, sorry. Yeah. Listen to Russian and... No mitä jos mä alan puhua suomea, ymmärrätkö tästä? Okay. Actually one of the sponsors is my company called the Adminizer. So now I have a paid time to tell about myself. So it will be really, really short. Adminizer is, adminize.com is my own company, and I'm working as a freelancer now. I was establishing the company that you all have seen here present at a lot, which is Sovelto. Sovelto is the biggest training company in Finland, which was established in 2002. And, actually, part of Sovelto was established in 1999, I think. But anyway, so we established the company at that time, but about 4 or 5 years ago I changed to a freelancer status. So I'm now working through my own company, and about half of the time I'm spending at Sovelto's facilities training for them. So that's like, if I'm talking about my company, it might be Sovelto or Adminize. I get all mixed up, even myself. But Adminize is a software development and training company which produces software. I've been training and teaching about security and getting rid of admin rights for ages. And I had a single piece of features missing, which was the need to have a one-time admin password for users. So users could, for example, call from a hotel and tell that I'm trying to install my printer, but I don't have admin rights and I don't have access to the internet, so we can't use SCCM or stuff like that. So I needed to build it, and I actually used, I think, 8 months to build the proof of concept for the city of Helsinki. I built the proof of concept. After about 6 or 8 months, it was finished, and I got the first money out of it. And then I thought about it, like, I'm a trainer by heart and I love speaking, so should I go for software development or should I keep on training? So I called a fellow trainer at Sovelto who trains software development. I called him, like, could you try to code this piece of software for me in a modern language? Because I only did it with a, I don't even want to tell you what I did it with, but a really old thingy. So I asked him that, could you try if you could replicate it with a modern programming language? And I called Heikki, and Heikki called me back after 18 hours and told me it's ready now. So I was like, what? Yeah, it's ready now. You've got to be kidding me. I just spent 8 months building this piece of software and you've done it in under 24 hours? Yeah, that's like the most simple software I've ever seen. What about Heikki if I'll do so that you get 1/4 of the profits and you do the coding and I'll do the speaking? So I'm still training. I didn't want to go to software development anyway. It was fun to try it out, but doesn't seem to be my cup of tea either. So Adminizer is a software that just makes 2 things. It gets you rid of the hassle of administering any local passwords, and also documenting, remembering admin passwords, and as a bonus it gives you one-time administrative access to your computer. So it's that simple to present how it works. I've got a virtual machine here. If you try to do something that requires admin access, first we'll have to know. Let's see. Sorry, I actually forgot what's the name of the normal user. Tavis. Okay. Log off. Password has expired. Wonder why. So if you have any software that needs admin access, for example, just let's try to open up a command prompt with administrative access. When you get the UAC, you can actually press the shift key for 5 times, and then you'll get a note from the adminizer. It'll gives you a note just for your help desk staff to figure out which company and which users you are talking about, and then it gives a password ID. The password ID that we get from this 3238 can then actually be used by the help desk staff to... Where's my software? Should never do this with a development machine, but actually have... Is it this one? No? Now this is starting to sound like a really nice demo effect. Figuring out which user. This is the other tool that the help desk staff uses, so they have companies listed, different companies in the database, which might have different password indexes, and then when they type in the codes and the reasons for logging, so printer installation, for example, and get the current password. So they get a current password, which the user can use, and whenever he uses this through a run as admin, run as a different user, log on, remote desktop log on, whatever way of using a user ID, then it gets instantly changed. So you get a one-time admin password. And the good thing is that they also change every 15 minutes throughout the year. So all your passwords in your company are totally randomized. You don't have to document them, remember them, and especially you are better secured than almost any of your fellow companies because you're totally randomized with all the local passwords. Yes, you can. It takes only about 8 months. I'll repeat the question. The question was that can you change the time interval of the password changes? Yes, you can. It's parameter that you can change. It also works, as many of you know, you've been to my hacking sessions. You always learn something good about the hacking sessions as well, and the good thing is that the hole that I use for hacking usually actually makes adminize also work when no one has logged on to the computer. So you can also get the... Oh, I locked the... Excuse me? I locked my Windows 8. I was supposed to lock this one. So, when no one's logged on, that's the time when you definitely need administrator access in troubleshooting scenarios. So you can also use it here. So although no one's logged on, you can actually get the indexes here, and then log on using the user ID that you use. Extremely simple. So that's the first sponsor session. I'm not gonna let Mike get over right now. What I'll do is I'll change to another one. Is Kalle here already? Nope. Kalle is actually the developer behind the next piece of software, but he has asked me to show the presentation for him. So that's exactly what I'm going to do now. That's modern. No, that's Mike's. You have it here. So one of our sponsors, bigger sponsors as well, is called Applixer. Applixer aims to get people, or let's say user satisfaction up. That's the main thing. It's aimed for both end user, both help desk staff, but especially for management, meaning that it's trying to get data into a form that also the boss will understand. There's huge amounts of different polls, or what do you call those? I'm really losing my words here. Researches of people complaining about what's the most annoying thing in a modern user environment working with computers. So slow starting of PCs or software, underperforming PCs, hardware software failures, blue screens, crashing software, or a need to reboot your PC whenever you should be working. So about 29% of employees say that the biggest productivity killer in the office are the computers and their problems. So that's what Applixer is aiming for. A few more statistics. 53% of employees are trying to actually fix the problems themselves rather than calling the IT support. These are from Gartner and CIO Insight. So 53% of people are trying to fix it for you. 16% of employees say that malfunctioning work PCs are a major cause of frustration, and that we probably all know very well indeed. All this costs money. This was done with a Finnish company, a really big company in a Finnish or in Finland. So if we count about the turnover per year and how many businesses they are using, how much work they lost per week, and 47 working weeks in a year, you get to a ridiculous number, 93 million euros of lost revenue. That's what Applixer looks like. Applixer is a platform that collects inventory data from computers, but in a different way than at least software that I've used before. So it gets everything up to a certain number. If you think about like your watches nowadays from companies like Polar or Garmin or Suunto, which is Finnish also, they're trying to get your activity levels in a number format from like 1 to 5, that any people in the world would understand that if you're performing bad it's 1, and if you're performing a really huge exercise then it's 5, and it's just a really simple number. So Applixer is actually trying to do the same for the workstation environments, building up a number on how well the company's PCs are performing. So it collects inventory data from software, like the basic software inventory. That would be stuff like how many Adobes you have installed around the company, but that's something that everyone's been doing for years. The part where I come in as well is a part where I'm working as their operating system specialist, you could call. So where I step in is when we start to analyze how well the OS and the software are working, meaning how many failures do we get daily, meaning what kind of hardware are you using, what the security measures are that we have. We're trying to build up a health number which just states how well the company is performing, and also count the lost revenue to a number. So you can of course parameterize it for any country, but still to make it for the boss to be able to see a few numbers that tell them how well their environment is working. You can of course drill down to the really detailed level of, for example, how many XPs you're still running, which might be also beneficial for the help desk staff, but moreover it's a cloud service totally, and it's aimed for management who makes the decisions, and if they decide to change their hard disk to SSDs, they can instantly, well, at least in a few weeks, see the productivity rise and see how much they actually benefit money-wise for the things that they bought. So that's something that the boss wants to know. And it aggregates these numbers. There's stuff behind the scenes that you would never see in a PowerPoint presentation anyway. Those are secrets and patents, so they won't be really revealed here, but basically it builds up from the asset data and usage and performance meters that it has, and builds up to an overall software score, which is just a number. Secret sauce. What we are aiming to do is sell it as a service and sell the know-how that the people who are working as designers behind the scenes have. That means, for example, for me, most of the stuff is like actually trying to analyze event logs. If you think about the performance logs that a current modern Windows like Windows 8 or Windows 7 gives you, you get huge amounts of events. but there's no way of getting that down to a single number which would tell you are you doing good, bad, or something in between. I've actually just received email from Microsoft staff from Redmond because I was asking about a few events, and the worst thing is that their developers are answering that we have actually no idea why we are collecting this and what for. It's like, we're just collecting it, but we can't tell you what you could use it for because we don't actually understand why we have to gather it, but we're just gathering because they told us to gather it. So that's like the secret sauce, is to have someone who actually has to do the research on how to interpret these to numbers so that even the management will get it. Pricing is low, should be low, so depending on the amount of PCs, it's a monthly cost, and it's a totally cloud-based service. No installation except MSI packages for someone will kill me if I answer that incorrectly now. I will ask. I'm not even sure. The guy who has actually done the most work behind it and who's the main developer is Kalle. Kalle will come here from 10 to 1 this morning, from 10 o'clock, so you can, that's his face, so you know who you can ask more questions from. I'll know the secret sauce and the stuff with the OS, but that's my cup of tea, and the development is actually done by Kalle. The beta is actually launched today. As I told you yesterday, I'm moving at the same time as the MCT Summit, from a home to another, and from a place to another. So I went home and started packing with my wife, and I think I stopped packing at like 1 o'clock, and then I drove here at like 5:30 or something, and I thought that like that's not too much of sleeping, and then I actually saw the emails from these guys who had the deadline for my presentation today to get the beta ready. So that actually came like probably 15 minutes ago, so they didn't have time to sleep. I'm happy with my few hours. But anyway, that's beta is launched today, and it's free for all MCT Summit participants. So if you wanna get it and try it out and see how a really different to understand IT environment gets translated to a single simple number that you can show your boss if you're doing a good job or not, then you can get it from here. I'm not sure about Applixer, and they're willing to share this presentation, although it's recorded, so I'm not sure. So I'll post it on Facebook and Twitter after this as well. Page is not working. That's very nice. That's good, guys. Let's see about that when I'm finished, which is now. Well, I'm finished anyway, so yeah, I'm always finished. There's no. I was trying to finish you yesterday, but okay. What we'll do now is we're gonna have a short break. So let's take a morning break for about, let's say, 10 minutes.